How you doing, YouTube? Matt Master Beer Reviews. Back with a little review. New brewery time. Courtesy of my boys over there to West Vale Liquor Mart, Drew and Dean. They sent off a box of like Colorado area beers, and here we have Elevation Brewing Company. Or beer company, they have written down here. I think I've heard of these guys. I don't think I've ever had anything from these guys, and they sent me off what you want when you try a brewery for the first time. And that would be their Kölsch, more specifically their 8-second Kölsch. Yeah, that's how you figure out if a brewery's good or not. If it is, if their Kölsch is delicious, then we're off to a good start. It looks like this was packaged. It looks like 11/06, so it's just a bit over a month old. So we'll see what's what. Dive in this sucker and see what we got. Ooh, I'm in the mood for a Kölsch, man. 2 days after Christmas, been doing a fair share of beer stuff, so this hopefully goes down tasty. Is there any other information on here? Until about pairings, it's 5%, done and done. It's got like a buck and bronco, or that's a bull, because it's 8 seconds, because it has to do with bull riding on it. So, yeah. I don't think of Colorado. I don't think of bull riding, but maybe that's, I guess it's a Southwest thing in general. But label's okay. It's kind of like old school. This is kind of like what I would expect from like Coors or something like that. And as far as the beer goes, I mean, that's Kölsch, baby. Crisp, plain, clear, a little bit of soft carbonation, white as like a bee head, about a third of a pinky finger. I mean, that is textbook what I want a Kölsch to look like. As you kids would say nowadays, you're crispy boys. Let's see if we can get a nose in this sucker. There's something in there. Unique. I don't know what it is. It's like a straw characteristic. So you're getting a lot of almost like adjunct kind of lager. Again, it's Kölsch, it's not a lager, but you're getting a little bit of kind of soft, kind of like sweet corn mixture with malt kind of vibes, a little bit of Pilsner malt, a little bit of crackery malt, almost like a corn vibe to it. That's not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to some of these kind of lighter beers, but there's a little bit of a straw characteristic to it too. Other than that, pretty much done and done. A little bit of soft generic bittering, not much to it. I usually like a little bit of melon characteristic kind of popping to the top for a Kölsch, but this smells quite nice, but in a very basic kind of macro lager kind of way. And I'm not trying to say that in a negative way, almost in like a very chuggable fashion. So let's just dive in, see what she's got. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, it does come off very much like a macro lager, even though it's an ale. Because even though those macro lagers don't really exhibit a ton of lager vibes to them. So you're just getting crisp cleanness to this, chuggability, a little bit less of a corn kind of vibe that you get from a lot of macro lagers. You're still getting a little bit here, but it's much, much less. The bittering's there. It's nondescript, it's generic, but it's there. It's nice to have it because it starts to get a little bit sweeter than you expect, but that bitterness kind of reins it in, keeps it in check. We're done. That's it. This is super chuggable, 30 rack level deliciousness. And this is kind of where I would put this. It's kind of like I would assume, and you guys out there can let me know if I'm wrong. It might be like their local version of like what I would see as like a Jenny Cream Ale, like the kind of regional version of what has a kind of macro beer feel, but is still tasty enough to chug in copious amounts without feeling like you're chugging on some big beer macro lager. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if I could get this in, a 30 rack for a decent price and have it in my fridge and just be kind of, I'm drinking something that's leaning itself in the chuggability, but at the same time, I'm not attributing or promoting or giving to those larger corporations, that's a great thing. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is like reinventing some kind of like cool new kind of twist Americanized version of what Kölsch does. I wouldn't even say it's kind of super traditional in the Kölsch sense. It's traditional in the sense that it's like what I think your father would associate with Kölsch or lager from the days of yore, but more from like the American side of things as opposed to the European side of things. So typically, like I said, when I'm dealing with Kölsch, I usually get a little soft melon characteristic. That's kind of what elevates a Kölsch for me in the hop profile. And not getting it here doesn't necessarily make it a bad beer. It just kind of lacks something else to kind of make it rise above. But let's put it this way: if I did take a trip out to Colorado, we went to like a house party or an after party for something, and there was a tub of ice, and there was a 30 rack of these in there, I would not blink an eye and just be like, "Yep, I'm good. Let's go with it." And I would not blink an eye. I would not be like, "Oh, where's the good beer at?" I'm like, "I'm cool with this. Let's drink." That's where this beer lies for me. So let's talk about it. Is this one of the better Kölsches that I've had as of late? I mean, it's worthy of being in a conversation. It's not going to get up towards the top. At the same time, it's a really well done, clean, crisp, well-made beer. That honestly, like I said, if you're telling me this comes in, a 4-pack for $12, I'm going to be a little bit peeved. You know what I mean? If you tell me this comes in a 15-pack for, $15, $16. Yeah, I can get down with that. It's tasty. I can get down with it, but I'm not going to sit here and kind of gush over it. Value and availability, again, maybe the guys out there, Drew and Dean, can let us know what's what when it comes to the pricing. They obviously know, being that they sent me beers from where they work, and which it happens to do sell beer. And, excuse me, and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer, if you like chuggers, if you like macro lager, if you like chuggers, if you like Kölsch, if you like drinking beer, lawnmower beer, barbecue beer, golfing beer, this is the beer that's going to do it for you. So, I mean, you even go in here and read their kind of taglines. It's make a positive impact, go higher. Like, it seems like, seems like it'd be a good company. You'd have to look into it. Elevation Brewing Company, Pocahontas Springs, Colorado. So, yeah, if you're into crushable beer, have at it. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. You want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of a 8-second Kölsch right now. Hopefully see you next time. Cheers.